There's a lot of cultural prejudice. There's a lot of, the sort of elevating it because it's old, whatever it is.
Now I want you to listen real close because Christopher Nolan just said the quiet part out loud. From his own lips, he just said that he sought to do away with cultural prejudices of the ancient world and retell the Odyssey for modern, diverse audiences. So what Christopher Nolan is really saying is that he feels that the Odyssey and Greek peoples and their culture was prejudice at its core. A culture that didn't even interact really with the people that he is trying to put into this film. And man, this just shows exactly how little he knows. But let's talk about it. Pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this.
And so for me, in building the world of the film, what I talk to all the actors about is like, I want to center it on that and make it feel very fresh for modern audiences and do away with some of those assumptions that aren't based on anything logical. They're just, as I say, cultural prejudices or things over time.
So there you have it already. Weeks of everybody online saying, well, just wait and see. The trailer doesn't matter, though. Hey, do you know that the point of a trailer is to kind of reveal what a movie is about, the tone of a movie, how it's going to be presented, and get you excited to go see it. So this whole, the trailer doesn't mean anything, wait till you see it, nonsense is just that. It is nonsense, particularly when you know the key ingredients, that you have a rapper being basically the bard in place of Homer, that you have Elliot Page, she's in this movie, and she's not even from this book. The character she's playing is from Virgil's Aeneid, a Roman story, different culture, around 700 years later, but pushed into this story, again, subverting the Greek culture as it stands. And then you have Lupita Nyong'o playing Helen of Troy, which is just discarding everything culturally representative about these people, the story that it came from, and you're fundamentally changing it. And everyone who said, well, yeah, that stuff might be in the trailer, but just wait and see, you have your answer now. Christopher Nolan has confirmed what everybody has been telling you about what is happening here. And it doesn't matter if John Campea goes on an AI-generated tirade about it or not. It doesn't matter how many people try to shout things at you online, which I am absolutely sick of. It doesn't matter how many times people tell you, oh, just be quiet, watch something else. We're tired of being quiet. We're tired of having one culture systematically rewritten, erased, and insulted. And, at some point, you got to stand for something or you're going to fall for anything. And this is the convergence for me right here as someone. These are the two disciplines I've spent my life in for the most part. History and filmmaking. And these two things are tied together. And as intelligent as Christopher Nolan wants to present himself as, he is so off base here. It is absolutely embarrassing. And the way he contradicts himself is even more embarrassing. And if you defend him blindly, that might be the most embarrassing thing of all. So he says that this is prejudice, that it is a representation of a prejudiced ancient world. And here's the thing, if Greece itself is prejudice and the ancient Greek people are prejudice, you're not adapting the Odyssey. You're not adapting it at all. In your opinion, the way you're approaching this is you are correcting the Odyssey. Very different than adapting the Odyssey. You are trying to correct some sort of imagined slight, some sort of imagined insult in history. So that's not a translation. That is suppression, really, of the original story. The adapter himself, in this case, Christopher Nolan, by way of a very liberal, feminist, progressive lens translation, are placing themselves morally above, in a moral superiority position above the source material and what the actual culture believes for the last 2,800 years. It's a modern audience's prejudice. He went full modern audience. Never go full modern audience. Then the fix, in his opinion, is to show the ancient world more accurately, more fairly. So he changes this and he moves away from this world, not towards it. No matter how much he wants to ground it, no matter how much they want to circle talk or anything else, they move away foundationally from what this is, from what the ancient world is, from the hero's journey, from all of it, because everything is through the prism of the modern audience, the modern retelling, the moral high ground that they imagine themselves to have in order to inject something that never existed. The Odyssey is 2,800 years old and one of the foundational texts of all of Western civilization, of how we tell stories, of how we understand the hero's journey. Everything is based here. The reluctance of the call, the confronting the gods, the going, all of it, the rise, the fall, the redemption, all of it is in here captured the same way. And it is basically saying none of that is okay by modern standards because we think we need to correct it. And saying things like Lupita Nyong'o's stupid comment about Homer, how would you feel about this screen time for these women since you didn't have it? You're just revealing how ignorant you are, because this book, Odysseus is repeatedly interacting or being aided by women, by goddesses, Athena, Circe, Calypso, throughout the whole thing. And then Penelope is, oh my God, she is one of the most intelligent women in the ancient world, presented this way in a time that women probably wouldn't have normally been presented this way. She out-strategizes the entire suitor class. For 2 decades, she outsmarts these men, outwits these men. Homer didn't tell this story and need to correct women representation or minority representation. He didn't do it having women's needs and feminist lens on his mind. It was part of the story. It was foundational to the story. Penelope was a badass. She was smart. And to act like that didn't exist just shows your ignorance. And it is exhausting at this point. And then you have Elliot Page. She's in this. She is playing a character, as I mentioned, from Virgil's Aeneid, which is a whole other culture. Roman culture 700 years later trying to connect themselves to ancient Greek culture is really what happened here. And you are sitting here lecturing people, saying that their opinions don't matter based on the trailer, that, they really don't know what they're talking about. And then you're sitting here putting a character from a whole different culture and civilization into this book. That is basically tantamount to correcting everyone's knowledge or interpretation of Shakespeare while simultaneously confusing it with Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It is completely different things, and you're putting them together and then wagging your finger at other people and telling them they just simply don't understand. They do not have the moral intelligence. They do not have the book smart intelligence to understand what you are saying as you correct their 2,800 years of ignorance while you are sitting there being completely ignorant yourself. This is the height of hubris. If you were Icarus, your wings would have already melted a long ass time ago and you'd have planted face first into the ground. And this is so bad that you have the Greek government involved now, because the Greek government gave Christopher Nolan tax credits. They gave him millions of dollars to film there. And then now they are being portrayed this way. Their culture is being thrown out the window. And it's like, you do not understand this. The peoples of Greece are angry. So much so that as they take this film on its little tour, They refuse to go to Greece with it, the home of this story. That should tell you all that you need to know. That, along with the fact that they have disabled comments on the official Twitter page. That way you can't say anything about it, right? And here's the thing, if your idea is smart and intelligent, it should be able to hold up to scrutiny. It should be able to hold up to criticism. You should be able to defend it on its merits. You cannot here. So you try to silence other people. You're not silencing them. Because at this point, the trailer has approaching 800,000 dislikes now. It just keeps growing and growing. And the original trailer that came out without all the knowledge of this originally had a 10-to-1 like to dislikes ratio. And now it is more disliked than liked because people are tired of you destroying their heroes. I just did a whole essay on this on the channel. People are just tired of this. They're tired of you rewriting history, and it only goes one way. Because right now you have Variety, as of last night, putting out a whole article about how it was so important to go to Hawaii and to involve and preserve the cultural representation and the cultural history and heritage associated with the people in Hawaii for the Moana live action remake. Meanwhile, they're putting out articles simultaneously criticizing people about trying to preserve the ancient Greek culture because they're saying it's just a myth, so it doesn't matter. Do you see the agenda here? Do you see the two sides to this? And then you have people like John Campea, who has an AI, it's clearly he's reading an AI script about this because he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to movies, really, or definitely the Odyssey. And he's on there talking about how this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter here to change these characters, to swap these characters, and be incorrect. It doesn't matter. And if you say anything about it, it just reveals that you're a racist and a bigot and all of those kind of things, to try to shout people down with insults. That is the tactic in order to try to silence people. I've even had people on this channel say, well, just be quiet. Just don't watch it. No, it's 2 decades of being quiet. I'm tired of being quiet. And when you really get me off the bench, and that's what you're doing with people now, people who just want to be left alone, people who just want their stories told the right way, people who just want to live and let live, when you start trying to replace them fundamentally, their culture, their heritage, the things that they know, the things that they believe, the things that have been true for 2,800 years, when you start trying to replace them and erase them from history, you're going to get the quiet people off the bench. And they're going to come in and you're not going to like it. And all your shouting, all your virtue signaling platitudes, which is what John Campea did with his whole video, it was absolutely cringe what he did and what these people are doing, simultaneously upholding other cultures and saying the importance of maintaining those representations while shooting down the cultures of ancient Greece and Caucasians. Just call it what it is. It's the only way that it seems okay to replace and remove and recast at this point. And I don't understand why anybody would want that. Why, even if you're a person of color, why do you, I can't imagine wanting to be pandered to. Just tell the story like it is. I don't want a Caucasian cast as MLK. I don't want you to go back and redo Malcolm X and take Denzel out and put Brad Pitt in. That's stupid. That's not the story. That's not the real thing. That's not how it's been told for 2,800 years. Stop trying to replace people. It's very obvious now. And the more you shine a light on it, the more the roaches are going to scatter. The more they're going to yell. It's like throwing holy water on vampires or having a curtain ripped open and the sunlight hitting the vampires. They're going to scream even louder on the way out. That's just how it is. And that's what's happening here. It is absolutely embarrassing. Trying to blame other people for review bombing or downliking and trying to destroy Christopher Nolan's Odyssey is absolutely ridiculous. Every wound that he has inflicted has been self-inflicted. It has been done to themselves in the production's own words, whether it's from him or the cast. It is all them. You have so many people that are so in love with Nolan that they can't even see that, so they're defending him. Man, take your blinders off. Take your blinders off. See it. See the unseen. See what you don't want to see. I even laugh. Listen, I'm a huge Steven Spielberg fan. You could call me a Spielberg bro. He has inspired me. And what did I do? I came on here and called him out. When it's time to call someone out, you call them out. Accountability is not wrong. It doesn't make you a bad person to hold people to a standard, to hold people to the thought that they should be fair, that they should do things the way that is realistic and representative and not setting out to harm one group or another. That's not being bad. That's not being any kind of name you want to throw at it. That is holding someone accountable. Because if you don't, and you don't hold people to a standard, there becomes no standards and no accountability at all. And that's something that has happened the last 20 years. Nobody wants accountability. Everybody wants to play the victim and embrace victimhood. That's not what the hero's journey is about. That's not what the Odyssey is about. And it's definitely not about DEI or anything like that. It's not about pandering to anyone, and it shouldn't be about erasing a culture, a people, a history in any way, shape, or form. And one final shot at those that are like, it's a trailer, I'll wait and see when I see the movie. Listen, directors tend to tell you the movie they are making. And the actors tell you the movie they have been in. And Nolan has told you now the movie that he is making. The actors have told you all about the movie that they have been in. I don't know what else you want. You could say, hey, it still might be an entertaining movie, but it is going to be that kind of movie. Those things are going to exist in it. You cannot change that just by waiting and seeing. You can't do it. They tell you what it is. Filmmakers make the things that they believe in. And I know it hurts the Nolan fans that didn't see him and he's never done this before, but he's telling you what he believes in. He believes this is a work of prejudice. He believes the Greek culture and the Greek people, in this case Caucasian people, should apologize. They should be replaced and rewritten out of history. And he is going to present that type of belief to you in the film. That's the film you're going to get. Whether or not it's fun adventure or not doesn't change anything. That is the type of film you're going to get. And that is the type of film we need to stop making. And that's what I got for you this time. I am probably going to see this movie. I refuse to take anybody with me to see it because I don't want to give it an extra $1. But because I have done this, I feel it would only be intellectually honest to see the film and give you my thoughts. I'm going to see it as early as I can on Thursday. Hopefully I will have a review for you on Thursday. But this hero's journey is something we need to protect. History is something we need to protect. Accomplishments of people in history is something that we need to protect and not rewrite and recast in order to push an agenda. And that's what you got here. But check out my video on why they killed our heroes. And I go into it a little bit more. I've said my piece on this, I think, unless something else comes out until I see the movie and report back to you on exactly everything we already know is going to happen. And until next time, like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And, of course, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.